There we go. Chuck starting off with a nice consistent strat. Jumping off against the pipe is always a good race idea.
I'm back, and looks like we just started.
Oh, hey man, how's it going?
Pretty good. Looks like I just caught in time for the race.
Yeah, perfect timing.
Looks like we see a really interesting color scheme from Dodgemaster.
I don't know how we managed to do that, but I don't know, showcasing new fun aspects of Super Mario Bros. 3, right?
First, All-Star. Now, a really cool black and white scheme.
Yeah, man. Cujo heading on into the fort, getting that P-speed, taking it safe around the waffle. Let's see if he gets the swag jump. Yes, he does. Good job, Cujo. And Dooley finishing up level 2. Now this is Warpless, so we're not going to see the runners use the whistle. However, you are permitted to catch the whistle. It saves a decent amount of time.
Fortunately, that's going to be in their inventory for the rest of the game, let alone on the first item.
Yeah, so likely trolling players throughout the whole time as the first item. Every time you go to inventory, you'll have to miss it. Dooley also opting to grab the whistle. Chuck doing a good job maintaining P-speed in 5. Can be tricky sometimes, and does a good job with the damage mitigation, so not taking damage on that final pipe. Jumping over the piranha plant can be tricky.
And gets a really good P-speed setup on 1-6.
Yeah, 1-6 can always be terrifying, especially in a race setting, what with any jump being to your immediate demise, both wasting time and losing your power-ups. So sad.
We notice Chuck grabbed the fire flower at the last second when the screen transitioned, which saves a couple of frames because it skips the transform animation.
Yeah, the animation can easily take half a second, so bravo there. Dooley taking some safe strat so as not to fall to his doom.
Yeah, the P-speed strat for 1-6 can be really punishing if you mess it up with all the bottomless pits.
For sure, that's a good mitigation strategy.
And with the way the P-speed is tracked in this game, it's based off of a timer, so unless you have a consistent way of getting up to that spot in the same time, you can't simply rely on running up from the same spot.
Chuck gets a smooth fire kill on World 1. Congrats, moving on to World 2. That was a pretty solid World 1 from Chuck.
And for the Cooper kids, it's you have the option of either jumping them 3 times in a row or shooting 10 fireballs. And generally the fireballs is much faster, but could be a riskier trick. But there are some pretty good setup tricks on the first Cooper Kid, seeing it's a relatively flat stage.
Ooh, Chuck doing one of the faster strats for 2 over there. Jumping up to the upper pipes platform structure can take a little decent amount of turnbacks, but he did it in one of the minimal turnback ways, so bravo. And Dooley wrapping up and moving on to World 2 as well. We see Chuck also here in 2-2, you see the butt slide. So when you're sliding, you can gain up more X velocity than if you were to run. So in this level, since you can't generate P-speed, the preferred strat for runners is often to slide down and they'll try to keep that speed by jumping very quickly immediately after landing on a platform, which Chuck does quite well in this level. We'll see if he can get some early P-speed in the fort as well.
Very nice fortress from Chuck.
Now this Chuck just avoided one of the Hammer Brothers that went up, so this is one of the Music Box Bros. Now Dooley's went off to the right side, so there's a trick to identify which bro it is. By after their movement, you can see if they're facing to the left or the right. It indicates a particular bro with a particular item. Now, I don't know if Dooley knows this tech, but he's going to be looking for the one facing left. Occasionally it'll pop up between 3, which this is not the right bro if I caught that correctly. And you can do another strat called an early hammer to skip a couple levels. We'll see what...
I think with that hammer, we only found that recently from some viewer, because most of the time you'd find find out about that stuff from Tassers.
Yeah, that's a fun recent discovery. Was that only just 3 or 4 months ago, I think?
Yeah.
Dooley making it to the final boss. Always a little intense on those forts, but he does secure the goal. Bravo. Chuck's still blazing away through World 2. He has been amazingly consistent with the races on Tuesday nights recently, so I'm not surprised.
And we have chat asking about Dodge's. Ooh, that's an unfortunate death from Dodge. But we have some people in chat wondering about the black and white screen. And do you know if that's intentional from his setup?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't recall his being black and white in the past on his stream. I just imagine it's a temporary, unintentional thing, but I'm not sure. We can ask him maybe post-race. Don't y'all love the double retro color scheme?
Ironically, the fortress before that is already grayscale. It's a grayscale game.
Chuck really doing a great job on his way into the airship. So we'll see how much the sun is going to troll Dooley here. Everybody's favorite cast, right? Decide to maybe Boss Bass.
Fortunately, the hitbox from the sun is pretty deceptive.
Yeah, as are many things in Super Mario Bros. 3, it can be really punishing sometimes. So he took another death, but it wasn't the, he's not terribly behind in that level, and didn't lose any power-ups, so that's fine. Now up here in a bit, after World 2 we have World 3. In World 3 we have a couple of Hammer Brothers, one of which can run off to the side. So we're going to hope for both runners that that does not occur. Now Chuck, I don't know if you saw that that bouncing kill on the airship boss, but oof, kind of close, scaring me, man. But he does take away the wand, so bravo. Moving on to World 3.
And for those I was wondering, the wand, for people who are, when you grab their wand from the ground, the wand actually falls faster than Mario, so you actually save a bit more time if you grab it on the ground than if you grab it in the air. looks like Dodgemaster gets the extra lives. Not necessarily the best in terms of time, but the extra lives can definitely help.
So we see some of these slopes here, especially for the pyramid for Dodgemaster, and he's sometimes in Mario, FYI. If you're jumping on a platform like that that's sloped, then Mario can come to a complete stop, or all kinds of unexpected behavior can happen. So I haven't seen it yet, but beware when it does. At the same time, Chuck has made a beautiful P-Speed in World 3. That's a really hard one to keep P-Speed and not get trolled by cheap hitboxes. So good job, Chuck. I think Chuck's 3-3 only had one short turn back at the very end, right? He's really running quite well tonight. Another note, since I see it on Dodgemaster, for coins. So he has 33 coins. If you have coins that are a multiple of 11 on certain worlds, including World 3, which he's going in, then you have a chance to get a coin ship, which is a really slow, terrible auto-scroller. Does have an item at the end, but it can be dangerous. It's terribly slow. We're going to want the runners to not have a multiple of 11 to avoid that. So hopefully we can keep our eye on that and avoid that situation.
And I don't think there are any opportunities to change your coin count on this ship, I recall.
No, it won't be a problem coming in, but he'll want to keep that under control in the future. Yeah, we see a lot of minor changes and improvements from Chuck. Again, avoiding a lot of those slopes so that he doesn't come to an immediate stop. There's a lot of little tiny speed tweaks like that. When you're coming out of a pipe, you might do a small jump. He's been executing those quite well. We do not have a runaway bro from Chuck, so good. We'll see what happens to Dooley.
And if you notice, if you play against all the Hammer Brothers and Ducking Deaths in World 3, then you can do a really good setup to skip 3 levels by using Cloud on 3-6, because the bridges will line up perfectly. Now, the catch is that if you die in World 3-8, then you lose all that momentum and the Cloud, and you'll have to end up doing 3 extra levels, including a Fortress. Unfortunately, Chuck makes it.
Yeah, that's critical. Now, if y'all weren't hyped up enough, I don't know if y'all saw that coming out of the pipe there. I believe it's a frame-perfect jump from Chuck, coming out to maintain P-Speed and building it up as fast as possible. So, double bravo points. Dooley maintaining firepower. Sometimes the water can be obnoxious. So yeah, also picking up the safety star. So good call. This level can just be so obnoxious. With the cheap hitboxes are never-ending trolls.
This is an extremely hard level to optimize. So definitely, but it's definitely great to do a safe stretch in this method. Oh, still gets the mushroom even with the P-Speed.
More delicious fanfare. Y'all thought you've seen it all in Super Mario. 3 mushroom fanfare. Huh? Dooley getting some cathartic cheap kills.
See if we can get a big birthday snipe.
Yeah, congrats on avoiding boss pass that whole entire time. That can be a nerve-wracking one. So props to Dooley there. And Chuck almost done with the World 3 airship. Very nice windy kill. Moving on to World 4.
Of all the duplicates that we want to fast kill, Wendy is probably the one you want to do, since she can get really trolly with their hoops.
Absolutely. Every bonk on the head when you jump on her, she throws another hoop. Oof, it can be brutal.
Fortunately, her arena is really, really flat, so you can get a really nice setup with the quick kill.
Yeah, lots of opportunities to pick up the flower before Windy, and then the arena really lends itself to using Fire Kill. Thankfully, Dooley does not get a runaway bro, and he keeps his firepower as well, so good job there. We'll see if Chuck gets P-Speed here. Wow, does pick it up. It is a hard level to keep P-Speed as well, but Chuck is doing quite well tonight. Now, I don't know about you, World 4. Some runners say World 4 is their favorite. I don't know if Chuck or Dooley say this either, but what are your feelings? World 4, best world ever?
I'm gonna have to go with World 5, if you don't count 5-9.
Well, you are very brave. We'll see. A side note, Chuck also hit one of the piranha plants. Sorry, Chuck shot a fireball at one of the turtles, and if you shoot that particular one, then you can cause one of the piranha plants to despawn, thus saving a second or two. And again, he's just executing every little second or two really adds up. He's been doing a good job keeping track of that all run so far.
One thing I like to note is that with Dooley's route, the great thing about Warpless is that the types of levels you can take are really flexible, and you have more that if you go for all the hammer bows, you'll have extra items to be flexible enough to use them on different items. In his case, he went to use a P-Wing on 4-5, and which is one of the alternate routes, so you can skip one of the harder levels. And throughout the tournament, we'll see like a lot of runners taking different routes, different P-Wings for different levels. And it was really great to see one of the good uses of a P-Wing.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody gets diversity points. Bravo so far in the tournament. Chuck doing some sweet strats there, good execution. And Dooley as well, picking up a fire flower, I think getting ready for Wendy. Hopefully gonna use fire on her as well. Ooh, Chuck gets some interesting hammer bro positioning. We'll see if he has to use a music box, but this could be very good RNG for him depending.
So did you pick up an extra music box in World 2?
You know, I did not notice. Oh yeah, unfortunately we don't get the boxless. Boxless hype is reduced and minimized. I apologize. But he was close. And makes quick work of the fort and moving on without any impediments. Now with the slowest moving auto-scroller of all time.
All for airship.
Such a delight to see how slow the game can possibly be played, right, on the airship.
Fortunately, misses the fire kill.
Ooh, getting intense. Ooh,
very nice.
Last jump. We're gonna call that 6 skill, Dooley. Good job on Wendy. That
Very
is an
nice
intense
save.
one. Yeah, awesome save.
Now,
Amazing final jump.
speaking of punishing deaths, if Wendy's ship gone past any of the levels he skipped, then he would have had to redo those levels if the bridges didn't line up well.
Oh goodness, yes. So at least over the first bridge, well, potentially depending on where it ends up. And then if the bridge is open, oof, that would be a pain. We see Chuck, interestingly enough. I think he's intentionally getting a multiple of 11 coins plus 1. So he is furthest away from a coin ship. It's also nice to get a consistent number of coins away from 11, so that if you do the same strats all the time, you'll keep getting the same difference of coins. So I think this is more credibility toward his consistency, and bravo, Chuck. Dooley wrecking for 1. Bravo, Dooley. Moving on to some fun stuff. Chuck has been doing some amazingly controlled jumps off some of these bosses as they're spinning up. Now he does unfortunately take some damage here. Might take a little bit to pick up the Fire Flower. So there's nothing in 5-1. Perhaps he'll do a 5-2 Fire Flower pickup. I think it wastes about 10 seconds. What do you think? Any fallbacks or strategies we might see here?
Try to remember what the best place to get a fire flower, since I don't think I can't recall a good backup strat from World 5, at least early on.
At the same time, the only time you really want it, I suppose, is the fort. So we'll see if he even picks it up in 5-2 or just waits.
But potentially he'd want to get it before the Hammer Brothers, just to speed up those fights.
Now, we had a question on the coin ship. So the coin ship, again, is a element of Super Mario Bros. 3 that comes in dependent on how many coins you have and only in certain worlds. So if you have a multiple of 11 coins and only in a few worlds that I don't recall, like 1, 3, 4, 5, 6? I don't know, I just made that up. Anyways, if you do get the coin ship and you need to pass through it, it turns a Hammer Brother into a coin chip. It then takes something like 2 minutes to get through an auto-scroller, and at the end you have to fight some Hammer Bros. The Hammer Bros do give you the item that was originally part of the Hammer Bros, but it takes forever to get through it, and it can just be a punishing result of not keeping track of your coins. So we haven't seen it yet, we probably won't see it, but it's something that runners have to keep track of.
Just to clarify, it's World 1, 3, and 5, and 6.
Oh yeah, thanks for checking that. So Chuck down to Small Mario, takes a little more damage. But there are a few mitigation strategies coming up, so it shouldn't waste him too much time since he didn't do the waste in 5-2. And Dooley consistently making it through World 4. So he still has his tail, which is a nice, reliable power-up that you can stick with throughout the whole game. All the falls that are just so prevalent in Super Mario, we can take solace knowing that you're one tail flip away from saving yourself. Chuck through the fort. Now, we moved on to a stage here. We're pretty much at the end, but he did a great job. We have some input lag, however, so if you see a lot of things are animated on the screen at once, particularly before the waterfall in this level that Chuck just went through, we have some input lag where if you press the jump button, the game will not register that you jumped until it is through with its lag frames. So you're going to want to hold down the button, and it can throw a runner off if you're not used to it, especially. So Chuck still gets through it without a scratch.
Oh, that is interesting. I never knew that.
Fun facts, fun facts.
All the things you learned when you watched this game.
Ooh, and Chuck gets save some time, picking up a Hammer Brother. Only as Big Mario, no fire, jumping on top of him. It's a dangerous move, and he pulls it off. Let's see if he gets some fire power here in this level.
Risky jumps.
Yeah, so not getting fire early on in 5-2, it saves him a good 10 seconds. He probably had a slightly slower fort, but now picking up fire in the difference here does probably net save him a little bit. So bravo there. Now to the petrifying fort, 5 Fort 2, where we have lava both beneath us, under Mario, and above us. I think it's more clearly outlined on All Stars, just how bubbly and Doom-like it is. But it can be a pretty scary fort.
See, if you start seeing gray bubbly water, lava, do we want to call that like a gray, like bubbling concrete, bubbling dirty water?
Yeah, does concrete get ominously bubbly in the most scary of ways? Dooley almost done with 4. Bravo. We see Chuck do the safety crouch in 5 to avoid a Lakitu bonking you.
Fortunately, Dooley loses his fire right before the boss.
And good, the boss killed itself, no issue. So bravo, Dooley moving on to 5. So now there's going to be an interesting thing when we get up to World 6. I have some slight freezing on my side, but I'll keep blathering. We might see the runners go through to the castle and then take some intentional damage in the fort in order to speed up moving platform. I suspect that Chuck will do that at least. It saves a good 10-15 seconds.
Looks like Dodgemaster's going to get an extra music box.
I just gotta say a big thank you to Dooley here. I have not seen this part of the level. This is amazing. Show me more. Well, great pickup, and it was not so much time. Chuck makes quick work of 5 boss. So this is the first of just a couple bosses with the shockwave jumping effect. So you have to avoid when they land on the ground, else you get stun locked. You can be stun locked until they kill you with no input available. So good job dodging that, Chuck. And so here's the fire pickup. So it's good in skipping some of the level. I don't even know what's in the giant question mark box.
And a couple of extra lives.
Gotcha. So we'll probably see Chuck go power upless here for a little bit. Small Mario until 5. But no worries, that is intentional. Also note, towards the end, we're probably going to see a nice strat of picking up the star, and if you make it to the final Boom Boom in the fort with the star, and you start bonking him, then he'll die immediately, and he leaves his little present of an upside-down question mark box instead of the regularly spawned box. I believe it's been explained like his health overflows, and that's what yields that. You can do that also, I believe, in the World 8 fort. Less commonly seen because you also need to bop him on the head with the final fire flower, I believe. Only accomplished through fire. Chuck picking up the P-Speed, that can be a pretty tricky pickup, but is a good time saver.
Very well done.
Yeah, still executing really well here. Now Chuck is going to go to a stage up here 5 after this throw. Side note, ice physics are very tricky, and he gets the kill easily, so
Nice.
Making it look easy, Chuck. Now in the next level, we're going to probably see him pick up the P-Wing, and we might see him do the despawn strat. Now the despawn strat consists of when you have multiple things happening on the screen at once. I'm being intentionally vague here. So animated ice block, perhaps an enemy or two going very quickly, we get a muncher despawn. It saves a good 7 to 10 seconds, and he does pick it up. So bravo, Chuck, again.
Now, do you achieve that by going really fast across the screen?
Yeah, so, and I'm vague on the details. Now, I do know that the game can only keep track of a finite number of enemies at any one time. There are certain slots. I want to say it's between 4 to 6 enemies, something like that. So if you have a lot of these items on the screen at once, so we have 2 down there at the bottom, we have a couple up at the hill, and the ice block does something important as well, then it's due to quantity of enemies already taking those finite slots. Thus, there is not space for both munchers. Thankfully, the muncher furthest away, which is the one we most want to despawn, is most likely to be despawned.
Really take advantage of the upper parts of this level. 6-4.
Yeah, again, Dooley is seeing some tricky level that he makes through safely and quickly, and this is where having the suit can really help safety-wise, because otherwise you're one quick death away, and those animated platforms, while spinning and lagging and input lag, and they can spin to your death, let alone standing platforms would be hard enough. So bravo, Dooley, making it through there.
You do not want to mess with the fidget spinners.
The fidget spinners, that's great.
And Chucky's going to one of the few intentional level skips.
Yeah, Chuck's still blasting through World 6. So we're seeing him maintain P-Speed. Up here we're going to see him go to the left when he enters this door. Now when you do this, you have the opportunity to run to the right, do a big jump, trying to maintain and play with the P-Speed meter, and then keeping P-Speed and most quickly building it back up when we come in. You see you only lost it for a second there. Normally it'll go all the way down and you only pick it up at the very end. So that saves a good couple seconds. And bravo, Chuck.
I have to comment about how Dooley got a really good, amazing 5-star chain in Worlds 5-7.
Yeah, that's amazing. Another thing that I never knew was there. I'm taking notes, Dooley. Good finds. And Dooley also making his way through the terrifying fort. Bravo, as Chuck enters World 6 Airship.
I'm wondering who would build a castle with lava in the ceiling.
Who wouldn't build a castle with lava on the ceiling, is my question to you. Wouldn't you, though? Wouldn't you? I have some brilliant scientists over there in Mario Land.
Where'd you get sniped from? The Lakitu.
Another Lakitu aim is impeccable. We had a run, I think it was yesterday, where the runner was going over the Lakitu, and the Lakitu was just nailing it, like angle-wise. It was amazing.
We see Dooley making the best use of the cloud, or at least one of the best. I'd like to argue that 7.4 is probably the better use of it, which fortunately he'll also have for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Of auto-scrollers are the worst, and of the worst auto-scrollers, there are also underwater. So, 7.4, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. Chuck makes quick work of the 6th final boss. Now he has some interesting AI. If you give him a decent amount of time, then he might come out and try to get you. But usually if you just run over and give him a nice little tap on the head, he just stays there until you bonk him 3 times and you win. So we're gonna see how many jumps. I forgot to take a tally, so we're at 2, but how many do we think it's gonna be for Chuck and Dodgemaster?
I'm gonna go with 5. 5 for Chuck. Oop. And I may have lost track of counting. So.
Well, me too. But he still makes it through. Good job. Not a bad time. Dooley making it through 5. So again, that shockwave, that stun can be a huge pain. And he makes it through, avoiding all the stuns and maintaining firepower. So he'll be ready if he so decides to do the similar fort strat of taking damage to avoid the platform. But we'll see. Maintaining firepower can also be hugely helpful. Chuck making a big jump across the chasm here. That saves a good 25 seconds. Otherwise, you have to backtrack quite a bit. So the star allows you to maintain big Mario power up, and doing the turnbacks allow you to get P speed, which allow you to jump over. So good orchestration and execution there, Chuck.
This is a level I don't think we often see in Warpless.
No, but he does take uses those damage invincibility frames well, and makes it through pretty well.
Do we know what other uses the hammer would be using too?
Yeah, after 6, no, I'm not sure. Trying to recall, I do wish I kept track of the player's items. Perhaps he didn't get the hammer in the first place?
He will get a raccoon suit, which is can be handy in some other situations. Keeping his speed to fly the rest of the level.
Chuck taking it easy on a couple of these levels. Again, we see him jump straight up and then is moving over to the right in order to maximize his speed once he gets over that large blue set of tiles. So good execution again there. And this is a couple of easy levels before some tricky levels, so we'll see about that.
Well, not crying all the scroller. There is a lot of waiting in 7.6 with a lot of moving platforms.
Interesting. Dooley taking the invincibility to avoid any fireballs coming up, so good idea there.
If we can take this star to boom boom.
I think Chuck has been accustomed to going in to this next stage as Big Mario so that he can do some zips. So we'll see. He might just do a quick power-up grab up here. Yeah, and that's what we're going to see. And I want to say that he's going to probably cloud the final 8 fort. So some fun, different strategies here from Chuck. Ooh, he gets the 2. So yeah, he's gonna be saving some time because he does it this way. Yeah, depending on the rest of his level.
Well, I missed it, but did he use a cloud on the other? Is he planning to cloud 7F, or did he already do it to the other levels?
Yeah, so I believe he's reserving it for now. In the past, he's mentioned using it on the 8 fort.
Oh, that's a good place, another good place.
Yeah, so I think part of that is, while 9 is an incredibly long level, if you do cloud it and then you die in this very scary, punishing fort, then you lose both your cloud and quite a bit of time and power-ups. So it can be really overwhelmingly time loss. So this is a good safe race strat. Unfortunately, he does lose firepower just at the very end. It's too bad, but still pretty good execution.
And I think I mentioned it before, but I think what makes Warpless a really interesting category is how diverse the paths become, especially once you hit World 7, when you have the choice of using the cloud diverges pretty drastically.
Yeah, there are a lot of great viable candidates for using it, and just so far in these 3 or 4 races, we've seen a whole lot of different uses. We see DodgemasterDooley here now. In this level, we have to bring a shell all the way up this path. It is a required wing level. He should be safe now, but you do have to fly up there. There's no other way, and sometimes it can be punishing to players if we can't get up there immediately with the raccoon suit we come in. So he got a couple of power-ups and made it out. So bravo, Dooley. Also picking up a hammer suit. So with the hammer suit, before probably he'll wait until Bowser to use it, and it can make the Bowser fight much easier. Whereas if you do not have neither fire nor hammer, it might take something like 40 seconds to watch him kill himself, essentially busting through the bottom tiles. With the hammer suit, it's 2 or 3 hits, and he wouldn't have even shot you at the time. So good time save there.
But she gets bonked then, so you can't do the second P-Wing flight.
Yeah, so that'll cost a good 5 or 6 seconds, but gets the flight back, so they'll still be safe. Chuck nearing the end, almost to World 8, doing a pretty good job so far. Do we have any votes for hands? We still have a few auto-scrollers ending, of course, and then some auto-scrollers. But do we have any votes for hands for Chuck? The hands.
I'm going to go for the 2 rightmost hands, including the dreaded first hand.
Gotcha. I love the specificity. The hands, for those that don't know it, are a random element in the game. We're going to move over 3 platforms that can turn into little miniature levels that take between 15 and 30 seconds. So all the players always do not want hands. They do reward you with a leaf at the end, but it's a big time waste. So there's a 50% chance of getting them, so there's only an 1/8 of a chance to get through them without any hands. So that's what we're rooting for, but it's pretty unlikely, so we'll see. Dodgemaster using P-Wing well here in this level to avoid the whole subworld. That saves an enormous amount of time. The subworld can be long and tedious. Chuck doing some swag grabs. We see you over there bopping the bombs. What else is a guy to do in an auto-scroller?
Fortunately, we did get to see the rest of the top level before he lost the leaf. Little nifty secrets I left up there.
Now, Dooley nails it on the going in through the door, so it's right about Mario's nose, you can actually press up and go into the door. So it benefits you if you're to maintain the large Mario power-up, and it will save a good second or two. So good job with the timing there, Dooley. We see Chuck bonking some of the bombs. Now he's lifting them in such a way as to remove both the enemy and that exploding animation. That exploding animation is quite taxing to the poor NES CPU. The 6502 was budget 30 years ago. And so when you have 4 whole animations going on all at once, it causes all kinds of video lag. So he saves, picks up a couple seconds there, disposing of the bombs early, to his credit. Can be a tricky pickup, and he does it pretty well.
So it's more actually, it's a more practical thing rather than just doing something while you're bored in an auto-scroller then.
Exactly. So it is swaggy. We do not want to minimize the swag here, bravo, swag-wise. But it also has time-saving elements, yep. Now in these, in the Navy, we see all the boats, so this is the Navy auto-scroller. This one does not have lag, so that was purely for swag. That was for the audience.
Now Dooley wants to stay big in this fight so that he can do the clip on 7-1, which he does get to stay.
Yep, so he maintains with tail, bravo, and he does exploit that AI as well, and bouncing off a few extra times. But yeah, gets through safely big. Sometimes now with the raccoon suit, one note is that when you're trying to make that clip, it's like right when you jump, you're hitting the air brakes, the X velocity of Mario slows down, and we don't know the exact criteria of making that zip in 7-1, but if you have higher speed, higher X velocity, then usually it helps. So sometimes that raccoon suit can trip you up. Now if you're used to it, then you're all good. Like for example, Ace of Arrows is just a champ at the 7-1 clip, and he'll do it with the raccoon suit. But sometimes it can be a little trickier for players.
So chat, how many tries do you think it'll take? Oh, he gets the third hand. Looks like I called out all the hands that he did not grab. So I was double wrong on that.
Uh-oh. I think I missed it. Dooley, sometimes... Yeah, holding somehow might have inadvertently held up when he was trying to do the clip. So this might cost something like another minute, but should be not terribly dangerous.
Because you're constantly pressing left and right when you're redoing the trick, there is a pretty good chance that you can actually press the up button.
Dooley with some 6-7-1 strats. I'll have to remember this next time I take this route as well.
Yeah, very good backup strats. Really makes a really good use out of that other tail. Yeah, you notice that level isn't as fast as all the other levels since it's mostly a vertical level. So even if it took him 20 tries, it still would have been a time save.
Yeah, that's true. It is one of the fun rarities. It's too bad that we do have to skip it all the time, but because it is a fun one in its uniqueness. We do see Chuck, so one hand, bravo, and then keeps his firepower, much to his benefit, through the airship, which moves very fast for an auto-scroller.
Fortunately, we do get to see the music notes, and once you fall in that pit, you have to do a pretty lengthy loop around.
Yeah, it probably costs a good 20-25 seconds. Now we see Chuck just narrowly missing P-speed there. Another little fun break in the video. Narrowly missing P-speed there on 8-1, but still making it through quite fast. Really, it's only the difference of a couple seconds. You get it quite towards the end of the level. It looks awesome, but it's not a big time loss. See if he maintains speed here. Almost maintains speed on 8-2. That was a big swaggy jump.
Yeah, jump on the note.
Have mercy, Chuck. You're scaring me, buddy.
Now, it is possible to make it skip all the note blocks, but you basically have to do a pixel-perfect jump at the end to skip all those. Opting for the flower instead of the last star. I was hoping to see a full star chain, but it definitely makes it through this level, nonetheless.
Yeah, bravo. And sweet overpipe jump, missing the 2 blocks on either side, so bravo. Chuck very nearly beating it. Now, we'll see his time. It looks like it's going to be pretty competitive. Maybe a 5:52 or so, we'll see.
And the best use of the cloud.
7-4, absolutely. That's got to be a given. Good call, Dooley. So after Chuck's auto-scroller, he's going to fight Bowser. It's going to be the last level. Or hopefully he's going to maintain fire and do a quick kill. Now, DodgemasterDooley is in World 7 still, but if he keeps his hammer suit until then, that'll be a fun, interesting note as well. A lot of these too that we see players flying over or zipping can be quite tedious, so there are large subworlds that just go on and are roving, and there's not a safe strat for getting through them quickly, so thank goodness these zips were found in some cases. Chuck is going to execute the even your mom can make this zip, so bravo. And moving on to the pre-final throne chamber. Keeping P speed also. Dooley taking a fun route. Now this is extremely challenging, timing it such that you keep star power throughout the end, else the munchers will eat you. Oh, Chuck with the Bowser kill, bravo.
Well played.
You have an excellent time of 53:04, SRL official. GG, Chuck. That was really an amazing run, man. You've really been consistent. Dooley also, I think, is doing well. I don't have his times up, but I believe that he might be on pace for a pretty good time himself.
His PB shows up as an hour and 6 minutes. So, I'd say it's not too far off from his PB right now. I'm Dooley using the cloud on 7-2F. Second Fortress is definitely a brutal stage to optimize. There are a lot of things that can go wrong in that stage.
Yeah, for sure. The whole second half of 7 just can be so brutal and punishing.
Unless I'm missing something, I think the most common clouds we see are 7 Second Fortress, the maze, 7-9 maze, and in this case, the fortress. Nice syncing up with the beat with the background music with the fire flower.
And sorry, side note, we're trying to work on bringing Chuck in for a post-game interview, GG again, and hopefully we can get him to join here in a minute.
Apparently misses the stun on the first jump. He gets a clean Ludwig kill.
Good job, Dooley. Moving on to Final World 8 and with the firepower. So luckily, hopefully, assuming we maintain firepower throughout, we don't have to do the sneaky Navy fire grab. All right, we see Chuck is almost here.
Last world. So we'll be grabbing Chuck in a sec.
Dooley doing some fun bomb grabs as well. Chuck, GG, man.
Hey.
Bravo.
Thank you very much.
So Chuck, you've been amazingly consistent at the runs every Tuesday, so bravo there. You're pulling it out again here with the 53.03. How are you feeling after your run?
Not bad. I feel like I played it kind of loose in a few places, but you know, lost fire to Iggy in World 4, and that was my fault. I was being a bit reckless there, but I bled a little time in World 5. Had some bad bro luck, had to fight 2 extra bros, got one hand. 7-1 always. Lately it's been a nuisance for me, I'm not really sure why. Those were the main hang-ups. Everything else went really well, I think.
What's your
good clutch levels?
What's your favorite part of your run today?
I had a really good 3-2 P-speed. That went really cleanly. That one, you never know about that one. At least I don't. It can go south in a hurry. I was really happy. Got the 6-4 P-speed. That's always a mystery if you're gonna get that or not. No deaths. Just pretty clean. Pretty happy with it.
Yeah, that was an excellent run.
Thank you.
Yeah, bravo. Now I'm pulling up who you're going to race next. Now, do you have a particular strategy for as you're racing, as you practice? Do you keep going start to end, or do you use a practice ROM?
If I feel like a certain level is causing me problems consistently, I'll definitely load up the practice ROM and smooth it out. Because it seems like every time you fix one mistake, a new one pops up somewhere else, and you're like, what happened? I just had this level, you know, just the way I wanted it. But I've been finishing runs that obviously weren't going to PB after World 7, just to finish it out as if it were a race. it's a good practice just to do that and
Yeah, for sure.
to stay focused for an entire run.
Yeah, definitely. Now we're trying to recall some of your favorites. So you have a favorite world, and do you have a favorite level?
I like a lot of the World 5 levels. A lot of them can be done better with fire, and they're really cool looking strats. It's not in Warpless, but 5.3 is a cool level to see done with fire. 5.5 and 5.7.
Dooley only gets one hand, but he does get the fastest hand, which would be the second one.
And as for a favorite level, and if everyone says 4.3, that one is cool. I really like the 4.6 fire strat, and it's hard to do, but the 7F2 fire strat is really cool. And the 7F2 hammer strat, which I've never learned and probably won't learn, is probably the coolest looking strat in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. You get a lot of swag there if you can time that well.
Oh, yeah.
It is just such a hugely different strat and only available when you have the hammer. So it seems like there are probably only 2 TV-named runners really practicing at that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, sympathize with you there.
Because the timing for those hammer throws is nothing like the fireballs. None of it would come naturally without some heavy grinding.
Yeah, for sure. And then we see coming up, say you miss one, then you have to do some really goofy mitigation strats if you miss one with getting really close, but you can't just immediately bonk them like you do with fire. So it's pretty sneaky.
Absolutely.
I see Dooley opting to fly over 8-1. So 8-1 can just be a terrifying level. He pops in the tunnel to grab a 1-up. That's fun. But yeah, good workaround for some tricky levels there.
8-1 has some very tricky jumps, especially near the end when you had to grab that pipe. Once they use the jump from the bullet, very nice.
Oh man, swaggy. So much swag. 300.
Gotta catch them all.
No, that's great. Now, Chuck, how long have you been running Super Mario?
Well, it's been right about 6 years, I guess, that I've really been learning real strategies.
Sure.
Yeah.
Was this real strategies? Was this like a game from childhood as well, or?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've told the story on my stream many times, but I was on my 6th birthday when I got this game. The game actually released 2 days before. The US release was February 12th, 1990. And that's actually the day that my mom went to go to Toys R Us to buy me Mario 2, but they didn't have it. But they said, hey, we just got this newer game, Mario 3, would you like it? And so that's what she came home with, and that's what I got on my 6th birthday. And I still play on that cart.
It's gotta be the best birthday present ever.
It was. I remember leaving the console on for days, because you couldn't save, and all of us played it. It was a tough game. It still is, and even especially as a 6-year-old. So we struggled through it and finally beat it, and it was the best feeling.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know how many times you get lost in World 7, or how many times Bubba can eat you, Boss Bass, and so many restarts and such. So that's awesome.
And yeah, it was one of my favorites. I always came back to it often.
So what got you to start speedrunning this game?
Well, I started out doing just like I knew I wasn't bad at the game, just based on what I knew about it already. And he's not around anymore. I'm not sure what's happened to him. He's kind of just disappeared. But Giga was an early runner of this game too, and we started out doing 100% races against each other with basically no strats, no knowledge. Just we were pretty even, just playing through the game with what we knew. So they were fun races, and we started wondering, you know, what's the record for this category in this game? And so we did some digging and wound up on Speed Demo's archive, as so many do, and we found Mitch's IL strats for all the levels and thought, wow, look at this. You know, this is nothing like anything we've ever seen before. So we started, you know, trying to learn some of those and kept racing, and then we found Kirua and discovered Warpless. We didn't even know that category existed. And there weren't many runners back then at all. And I used to race with Deathwing, Rupert, Kirua, Sven, and a few others that would pop in and out, but those were the main few.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, thanks for that amazing history too. That's just fun knowledge.
Yeah, no problem.
And you mentioned the Speed Demo's archive. I remember somewhere back then, maybe 2011, something like that. The master run, if you will, one of the early ones, is when I first saw, and it was really something like, I don't know, 2004, which turned out to be a task. But some of those amazing pickups were, I feel like, trained a lot of us. And Speed Demo's archive and sharing those videos was just such a great resource in connecting folks and the idea of different amazing strats. So props to them.
Yeah, they were the pioneers for sure.
Oh man, Dooley giving me a heart attack here. So we have Hammer Suit, and he's coming so close, but he keeps it. So bravo.
That's a very nice dodge from the Thwomp.
Dodge master, some may say. Very nearly reaching the end here, and keeping taking some damage, taking a death. We have some power-ups though, some backups, so we won't be starting from nothing, I think. Now Cujo, I read here, as I'm creeping on you a little bit, you have, what other games do you run? Dr. Mario. Can you tell me about a Dr. Mario strat?
You just called me Cujo. That's okay. Cujo's a good guy.
Oh, yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. You're mixed up with another world record holder. Not bad,
like,
right?
Cujo, what?
My bad, Chuck.
That's all right. What's a Dr. Mario strat? I wish I knew. It's a hard game to describe strats for. I don't know. You just keep playing it and you gradually get faster. You start seeing better options for pills. You see setups where you could maybe set up a horizontal and set up vertical drops. Like you clear the horizontal and then drop pills down to set up verticals, and it's, I don't know if that makes any sense, but I guess another strat is minimizing your broken off halves of pills from falling all the way down the screen, because that wastes time. So you want to try to have those fall as little as possible. But anyway, I see
Sure.
Dooley just finished, so we can...
Very nice Bowser kill from Dooley.
Yay. Alright, we're gonna try to bring Dooley in as well for some commentary if he has some time.
For those who don't know, if you can actually duck underneath Bowser, because his only hurt box is his head. So if you just hold down underneath him, you won't take any damage. And he manages to sneak in sub 110, so very good run from Dooley.
Well, GG everyone. We have WhenChukAttacks as the winner, and we're gonna wait a second for Dooley to see if he has time to join us for some post-game commentary. Congrats to the runners. Chuck, let me pull up the schedule here. I think you're gonna play against the winner of Brockus 420 and Sven. Is this the same Sven you mentioned about running 6 years ago?
Yep, that is the same.
Oh man, that's amazing. Well, good luck on your race.
Thank you. Should be a good race, no matter who makes it through.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to it.
Looks like for speed gaming right now, we still have the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening tournament, followed by Resident Evil 4 and Zelda 2 weekly randomizer. For their speed gaming schedule. So if you're interested in any of those games, feel free to check it out.
Zelda 2 randomizer. I've done a few of those. They were pretty interesting.
Ooh, that game is already a tough game to play normally. So I wonder how tough any of those seeds can get.
Yeah, the craziest thing was that it actually like generates a random map. Like I didn't expect that the first time I played it.
Yeah, we tuned into that later.
I'm gonna speak.
Yep. Hey, Dooley.
Sure.
Congrats on the clear.
Dooley, GG, man. GG.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so you weren't all that far behind. I think you had a good pace for you, right? How do you feel about your run?
First of all, how about that grayscale, huh?
Oh man, we were hyped for the retro feeling. Thank you for blessing us with your grayscale. Good.
Just matching the 2 Fortress palette.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you one thing though. Like when I saw the Brad Chuck, who is undoubtedly like one of the best runners out there, I'm like, well, he's consistent with his 53s. My best is like a 106. I forgot. But you know what? If I lose with 9% chance, I might, or I will. I'm like, you know what? I might as well make it like worthwhile, you know, and talk about besides my dodging luck and whatnot. So yeah, this run was it's pretty. I wasn't happy in the beginning, but you know I smartened up, and got a little bit better as it went on. I could avoid some deaths, but hey, this game. Very, as some people would say. So, to be honest, though, I haven't really started playing this game as far as speedrunning until like maybe a couple months ago, because I was like, this is one game that I didn't want to, kind of like taint with speedrunning, because it was always a good game for me, like play casually. But I don't know. It's just like I wanted to give it a shot.
Well, a lot of people have been practicing for years, so for you to have a PB to almost an hour is very nice for a few months.
My memory of this game was I actually got this game when I was for Christmas in 1990. I'm a little bit older, so I got years old, and unfortunately, the week after I got it, I had it in my pocket, and it dropped on my pocket. I got ran over by a car. So I was still working to cover my
feels.
Yeah, when it got ran over, it split right down the center. We were able to put worked, and that shows you how sturdy NES games are back in the day. Like, they can get by a car, get flushed down the toilet. Well, not flushed, but they can get bad.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet the case cracked, but the board still worked.
Yeah, like people don't understand like how durable these games were back in the day. When I was 13, and this has always been a game that, like, it's like it brings you back to your childhood, all the way back to like seeing on Nintendo Power getting it in your hands, like being one of the cool kids to get it in your hands, like the very first day. And it's just one of those games where anything can happen. Card is always subject to change, as they say. So, you know, that clip in 7-1, you know, I think what you said, I did the I pressed go left to right, you press up by accident. So it's always good to have like some kind of backward thought process, like, okay, don't panic, you have your tail, go through it.
Yeah, man, seems like you kept your head about you. Next best option, just play the level. Hooray! We get to see the fun side of the level, right?
I mean, it's against the top racers, so you know it's pretty fun. I mean, never say never, but you know what? This is probably a game that I just gotta get better at. I mean, you know, Chuck's been playing speedrun this for about 5 or 6 years in the early days, and me probably speedrun this game maybe consistently, maybe like one. And only this week I've been playing this game at least once a night to get better at it and trying to figure out, okay, if I get here and hit here, now what? You know, because if you panic, that's it.
Yeah, for sure. There's a big mind game with Mario and how brutal it can be. Well, bravo. Yeah, and what I occasionally say, practice makes you better occasionally. But yeah, bravo. And I think that you're going to move on to Brockus, whoever between, like, I think it's Brockus and Gary and Old Wolf and Sharky. You might play one of them in the other bracket. So good luck to you there. Do you have any final question for me, at least? Do you have any strategies for how you might practice between now and then?
More of this. You know, keep on, like, think of something new to, like, bring this way. I remember when I went to this room and Cyclone was like, your filter is black and white? What's the matter? I'm like, that's just how that's my gimmick tonight. Don't lose on my style.
Well, yeah, that's great.
But yeah, I think just get the crowd so and talk about, you know, it's like, that's what it's all about, making people happy and having fun, you know? So good game, Chuck, if you're still there.
Good game, I am, and it's a pleasure to race you tonight.
All right, I'll let me know you want to race against me anytime, though.
Absolutely.
All right, awesome. Well, I gotta go to bed. I hope everyone has a good night, and
Yeah, hey, y'all are great. Thank you so much, DodgemasterDooley, aka RetroDooley or Duels.
Hey.
And thanks also to Chuck. You guys did really well. It was really entertaining. Thanks for your time.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for commentating.
Excellent runs from Chuck and Dooley.
Yeah, and thanks also. Sorry?
Right.
Yep. Have a good one. And thanks also to co-commentator Gameaholic, and thanks especially to Speed Gaming for hosting us and providing a good environment through which we can run this tourney. Any other thoughts, Gameaholic?
Well, thanks also for the co-commentary. And if you guys like what you saw over here, please give these runners a follow.
Yeah, good call. Give them a follow. We'll have a whole lot more. I think there's another one, possibly even right now on another channel. So give that a look, and lots of great other events on the schedule. So yeah, take a look. Thanks again, Speed Gaming, and have a great night.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.